In this video, we're going to introduce the quadratic formula for solving quadratic equations. So the quadratic formula can be used to solve any quadratic equation as long as we get it equal to 0 first. So for the expression ax squared plus bx plus c, if we have that equal to 0, our quadratic formula says that our values of x are negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So in other words, our goal is to get our equation equal to 0 first. Our coefficient for x squared is a, so the values for a here. Our coefficient for x is b, so here and here. And then c, our constant, the one that doesn't have a variable attached to it, is this value here. So what this means is take the opposite of whatever b is, and then one of the solutions is going to be where you use a plus. The other is going to be where you use a minus. So we just condense it from two separate big fractions into one big fraction. And then the square root of whatever b is, square it, minus 4 times whatever a is times whatever c is, and divide that entire result by 2 times a. Now, quick note that for b squared, if this is a negative in front of our x here, so if it was a negative 5x, my advice is when squaring a negative, just ignore the negative sign altogether. Too many times students have just typed in something like negative 5 squared, and the problem is the calculator will tell you it's negative 25 because it is, whereas when you square a negative 5, what you really want is negative 5 times negative 5, which is positive 25. So if you just drop the negative sign altogether for this b squared part, you should be okay. So example 1, we're going to solve each of the following using the quadratic formula, exact answers only. So part A, we have 3x squared plus 8x minus 28 equals 0. And the good news is it's already equal to 0, so we don't have to do any calculations. We don't have to bring anything over. So let's identify the pieces and parts. We have A is 3, B is 8, and C is negative 28. So we take negative b, so negative 8, plus or minus the square root of b squared is 8 squared minus 4 times a is 3, c is negative 28, all over 2 times a is 3. So once again, that's negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 8 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 28, all over 2 times 3. Now, doing a little bit of calculations, inside of our square root, 8 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 28 comes out to equal 400. And then 2 times 3 is 6. I strongly urge you to not hit the square root button until you figure out what's inside of it first. So the square root of 400 is 20. So we have negative 8 plus or minus 20 over 6. Now again, what this plus or minus does is it splits it up into two separate equations. One where we use negative 8 plus 20 all over 6. The other where we use negative 8 minus 20 over 6. So this is just a way to condense these two expressions. So solve each one individually. Negative 8 plus 20 is 12. 12 divided by 6 is 2. And over here, negative 8 minus 20 is negative 28. Negative 28 sixths simplifies to negative 14 thirds. All right, part B, we have 5x squared plus 9x minus 5 equals 0. Again, it's equal to 0, which is good. So now we can identify A, B, and C. In this problem, A is 5, B is 9, and C is negative 5. So plugging into our quadratic formula, we get negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 9 squared minus 4 times 5. I don't know why this negative's here. This should be just a negative 5, so ignore this first negative. So 9 squared minus 4 times 5 times negative 5 all over 2 times 5. Again, this is a typo. When we calculate inside the square root, 9 squared minus 4 times 5 times negative 5 is 181, and we have all over 10. So our final answer is negative 9 plus the square root of 181 all over 10. We also have negative 9 minus the square root of 181 all over 10. If we take the square root of 181, we get a number between 13 and 14. It's a crazy decimal number, so we'll just leave it at that. All right, that about does it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.